everyone. Welcome to week 1, day 2 of Meeting God in the Garden, a Bible study, monthly study. Super excited to get started this morning. So let's look at our scriptures for today. Our scripture for today is Isaiah chapter 58, verses 9 through 11. We begin in our healing garden, right? So let's go to day 2. Today we're going to be talking about a watered garden. Isaiah 58, 9 through 11. In the King James Version of the Bible, it reads, "Then shalt thou call, and the Lord shall answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, Here I am. If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity, and if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday. And the Lord shall guide thee continually, and satisfy thy soul in drought, and make fat thy bones. And thou shalt be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water, whose waters fail not." And there's all kinds of things that we can verse map and cross-reference in here. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. Now, there's another scripture that is included in today. It's John chapter 7, verse 37. In the King James Version of the Bible says, "In the last day, that great day of the feast, Jesus stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink." So a watered garden needs rain to thrive. In the same way, we need God as our natural resource. To connect with Him in a real natural way, we must be ourselves. When we pray, ask, believe, and trust Him in our own unique way, we open ourselves up to Him and allow Him to know us, and we get to know Him too. This natural connection of being real provides us with a sense of fulfillment and purpose. Be real, open, and honest with God, and He will be with you. Just like we're in the garden. When we're in the garden, we're open and we're honest. We're out there usually by ourselves. We're taking in our surroundings. We're breathing in the fresh air. We're feeling the mist or the dew upon our flesh. A watered garden always gives the impression of abundant life. Everything in it seems alive, active, and sprightly, sensitive to its surroundings. One feels refreshed with the flowers and trees in a watered garden. The smell of fresh rain, hints of pine, honeysuckles, and roses carried by the wind adds to the garden's delight. Alright, so that was for day 2. Yay, a watered garden, right? Okay, so I've got the verse mapping finished. I went ahead and finished it off camera because it took me a while to finish it. So I wanted you to see the finished results of that and see how that it looks filled out and things like that. So this is just a template. This is just something I'm going to share with you. I'm going to try to be using this all different ones throughout, and I'll share those with you. Looks like my printer is printing wrong. Okay, so lay that aside. Now you can take notes on the stuff on the back. So this is the Junk Journal Page Design Playbook and Workbook. This is version number 4. This is what I'd create. I love using templates and things. So if you're like me and you need a template, you got one, right? That talks about the copyright and things like that. So a junk journal is a unique and creative way to express oneself. Now, we're going to be using it as a healing garden. Okay, so a journal or a planner, or if you have a pre-made journal, you know how that, let me see if I can show you, like, one that I did. This is the Traveler's, like one of the Traveler's Notebook. This is one of my devotions. So you can do Traveler's Notebook. I already showed you all guys how to do that in the last month, I think it was. So if you do Traveler's Notebook, or if you purchase Traveler's Notebook little inserts, then those are perfect. You can use those for junk journal. Let's see. It can be also an altar journal. We'll get into that. I think Sherry will get into that later on. But the items that you can do is like ticket stubs, photographs, postcards, candy wrappers. The process of creating a junk journal involves careful selection of materials to be used as a base page, such as scrapbook papers or recycled papers. The idea behind the junk journal is to recycle, repurpose, and reuse these materials to create a usable journal that is both visually appealing and functional. This process allows for the opportunity to reflect on the items collected and to turn them into something new and meaningful. In addition, the act of journaling itself can be therapeutic and provides a space for personal growth and self-expression. Overall, a junk journal is a wonderful way to combine creativity, sustainability, and self-reflection into one beautiful and unique creation. So, let's talk about, let's see what else. It says, gather your supplies. Okay, so number one, gather your supplies. We should have our supplies, so I'm going to check that off. All right, now this is in the PDF. All these things that I'm reading, all this information is in the PDF. The link is in the album that says May Printables in the group. What size do we want? Okay, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to make it real simple. So if you have sheets of paper that are 8.5 by 11, we're going to be making a 5 by 8 journal. Alright, that's what we're going to be making. So I'm going to circle my 5 by 8 here, check number 2 off, and check A off. What type do you wish to make? So we're going to be making build from scratch. Alright, so I'm going to circle the one, check it off, that we're going to be making. So I'm just going down my little list. Okay, so we are going to, what type of spine are we going to have? Right, we're going to have a soft cover spine. It's going to be a wrap over. It's going to be a one single piece. So we're going to be doing that with a file folder, or file folders are best. If you don't have any file folder, then we can do serial board or scrapbook paper. Okay, now the question is, are we going to sew it in? We're going to staple it in. We're going to be sewing it in. Okay, so you can use a sewing machine for this, or we can use just needle and thread. If you don't like to sew, that's okay. You can still watch it and do the journal your way. Okay, so we're going to sew. I'm just going to put sewn spine out here. So it's called a 3-hole pamphlet stitch is what we're going to be doing. Alright, a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Real simple, real easy. Nothing to fret about. Alright, let's see, organize the items into like a basket or a bag or whatever so you can keep up with it, and then let's start making. Right, so we're gonna have sorry, excuse me, we're gonna have our papers. We're gonna have our ephemera, which is our little bitty tiny pieces. We're gonna have our elements, which is like the vintage postcards, the stamps, the little journaling cards. Okay, so we've got those. I got the printed kit, junk mail, I got all those, and then stuffies for our journal pockets. We'll be creating stuffies all throughout this whole month for you to be able to put in your healing garden. Okay, so the stuffies will be coming. Alright, so I'm going to put a plus there. Now we're going to, once we get all of our supplies, once we start getting it working together, and I'll show you about how to make the designs of the pages. We're just, all kinds of things. So we'll get into all that in just a minute. We're going to make it our own, right? We're going to get it, we're going to make it, we're going to add stamping if you like to add stamping, if you want to paint in it, if you want to draw, doodle in it, if you want to sew on the pages with a sewing machine, right? All kinds of ways to make it your own. If you're a person who likes vintage textiles, you can put napkins, doilies, and things like that, and pieces of old clothes, and ribbons, and lace, and things like that in the journal, and all kinds of different like fibers and things. Like if you crochet, if you knit, you can also add fibers in there. You can also add crochet to the edges of the pages. There's unlimited amount. Now, if you are don't have any of this stuff, and you just have paper stuff to recycle, perfect, right? Just get what you have. If you just have a book that you want to use and glue stuff onto it, that's totally fine. That's also considered a junk journal, but it's considered a smash book, right? An idea book, a smash book, a brain dump book, where you just make a collage on top of a book page. That's totally fine too. You can work that out. So we're going to learn about making it our own, right? Then you're going to use up all the scraps. Whatever that you pick in the bucket, try to use it all that you can do. So gather some supplies. Old calendars is a wonderful thing to add as well. And then you're going to share your progress with us, right? You're going to show us photos, okay? If you don't know how, you can message me and I'll show you how to put photos, okay? If your device will do that. Every device is different. Okay, and then we're going to learn through the process, all right? We're going to learn. All right, so that is our step. I will get you started here with the junk journal so our healing journal can begin. Our healing garden can begin, right? And I'm going to show you about how we're going to be using the worksheets, the workbook that is included. All right, I'm going to be showing you the workbook as well when we come back, because I don't want this video to get too long and I don't want you to get bored. So let's talk about the junk journal part. Are we ready about the junk journal part? Are we ready? So what we need to do is gather some stuff up. Now, I don't have any newspapers at my house because we don't have that service. We do get a free weekly thing, but I don't have it at the moment, so I'm having to go and dig in my stashes to find some papers, scrapbook papers, some trash that normally you would throw away from my day. And then I've got the printed papers that is available for you. It's in the albums there. The link is for you to download the PDF. So I do got these pretty papers, garden papers. Now, if you print it on back and front like I instructed you to do, or if you just have back and front paper, that will work too. Now, these are little elements that I created, and the way that I designed these, and this one messed up, so I'll have to go fix it, but you're supposed to, whenever I designed it, I think when I printed it, I think I messed up the page or something, because it was supposed to be like this, like this would be here. So I'll fix that, or just print it single, or just choose whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. But I want to show you, these are like little paper clusters, right? I wanted to show you all these regarding sewing these together on a sewing machine. So if you have a sewing machine and you like to sew, and you've got some scrap papers and scrapbook papers and just normal recycled trash papers, I want to show you about sewing on a sewing machine regarding those, how to make those, right? Okay, so these papers, I just got some printed, some is brought front and back, some is not, and there are some beautiful butterflies as well in there. Now, you're thinking, well, she's got some cover images, like this is the back image of the what I printed. Use it all. You can use this, even though it's got this on the bottom. You can still use everything that's in the kit that you've printed, even if like I printed some and my internet went out, so I've only got like half a sheet, like this one. This is what happens when my internet glitches. That's okay though. You know why? Because I'm still going to use it. That's what a junk journal is all about. So if I use it in a junk journal, I'm going to fold it. this is what it's going to look like. Perfect, right? Yeah, so happy boo-boo, happy mistakes. You're going to need a file folder or serial board or scrapbook paper. I like using the file folders, and I'll tell you why. Because it automatically has a spine. See these ridges? This is going to be our spine, and I'm going to show you how to take it and make a spine with it. A real easy super junk journal, real quick file folder, or a anything that you can fold and make some a quarter of an inch score marks, then we're good, right? We're good. I've got some envelopes. We get tons. You get bills, you get envelopes, correct? And then sometimes people will send you an extra envelope, because now basically everybody pays their bills most likely online. So anyway, so a lot of people have gone paperless, and you may not have envelopes. So if you have envelopes that you have like purchased, like these are prayer pockets that I'm going to send out. Then if you have envelopes, I got these at the thrift shop, just somewhere when I was thrift hunting. Then I can use those, right? So you're going to need a little bit of some envelopes. Now, this is vintage. I collect old vintage stuff, like really old stuff. So I can use this. Some of these are really cool to put in a junk journal, and I'll show you why, for collaging and things like that. I do have music sheet. This is old vintage music. I buy these specifically to put in junk journals from the thrift shop. That way they don't get thrown away. My local thrift shop likes to throw books and things away, so I kind of get them before they have a chance. This is some old papers that come out of a printer papers. Just notebook paper. This is old printer paper, way vintagely old stuff. That one that you put in and it keeps going and going and going and going and going. Sometimes I wish I'd like to have those printers back, or we've not run out of paper, right? But I use these for also for kids writing and things like that, learning how to write. And but these are perfect to any kind of things like that. Scrapbook paper. Some of you have scrapbook paper. Some, I like to keep like vintage little ephemeras, like postcards and letters and stamps. Now, I have this paper stamps, but I always save my stamps. But when they come through the mail, people send me stuff, I save them, right? And I've got a whole bunch tucked behind here. That's what I'm trying to get. I just rip them out of the envelopes. I'll just rip them out. Just rip them off. And then I have a gentleman with my husband's business. He knows I collect stamps. I do collect these. I do have some from all over the world, so I do collect stamps. If they're precious, I'll look them up and see if they're worth anything, because a lot of times people will send out stamps that are worth money, actually, so I'll keep those. And then I've got cards. You get these little cards. I've got these little pieces of calendar. I have a person that sends me their little calendars, like their little daily calendars. I have those sheets back here too that I save, because normally people, when the day is over, this is a perfect one to put in our journal. This is from April, so this is perfect. These little desk calendars, and it says that I may come into you with joy by the will of God, and may be with you may with you be refreshed. Sorry, I botched that up. But these are perfect to put in a journal. They add so much sunshine, delight. They add a smile on my face when I see those. So that's just a few little things you can put in. And then I'll stamp. If you got any stamps, if you're into the blocks, the silicone stamps, block stamps, ink stamps, you can stamp out some of your stamps as ephemera to put in there. These are scriptures that I have stamped out. So I'll be using some of those. Just gathering up my stuff. I've got some pre-cut out tags from the community prayer wall. So I'll have these that I'll be using in the journal as well. So I wanted to get started and show you about the junk journal, and let's get into what the junk journal is This is from packaging. We ordered some. My daughter likes to order some stuff from Wish. So this is the packaging. I'm going to use it as a pocket in my journal. So I'm going to put all my little small goodies in there, right? So I'm going to set this aside. Oh, and one more thing. I found this. This is from the medicine shop. And they got vintage bags. Look at this. I asked her for some the last time I went. When my husband went, I asked him to get me some from the pharmacist, and they run out of the small ones like this. So I've been waiting for a couple of months to get some of these small ones because they are amazing in a journal. They are, because you can fold them like so. And, you know, this goes into the spine of your journal, right? And then you can cut this edge here. Just trim it off just a tiny little bit. Ever so small of a fraction of to cut off here. Alright. And then what you've got is... Oh, I was cutting stickers. I'll use those stickers too. You got a pocket, 2 pockets, and the sound. Oh, I love the sound in a journal.